Good morning and welcome to page 94, Listening and Vocabulary Sleep. You will hear four people talk about waking up at night. Look at the words below. What do you think each person is going to say? Okay, we got Matt talking about 10 or 11, Restless, My Wife, Photos, and Storm. We've got Sava with Yoga, Studio, 20 Other People, and Husband. We've got Bernie with Artist, Image, Dream, and Therapeutic. And then we got Ian with Papua Village, Sunset, Fire, and Sweet Potato. Okay, so those are the words they mentioned. Let's listen to the radio program. Were your ideas in for A correct? Well, let's check.
Track 3.48. Good afternoon. Well, some of you saw the article on our website last week. It explained how an 8-hour sleep may not be good for your health after all, and how people used to have what scientists call segmented sleep, which means they had 2 sleeps every night, not 1. Well, we've had lots of people calling in to tell us that they do, in fact, sleep in 2 separate chunks, and they've been filling us in on what they get up to at night. First of all, we've got Matt from Brighton on the line. Hi, Matt. So, tell us what you do at night.
Yeah, I usually go to sleep around 10 or 11. I naturally wake up at about 1 in the morning or 2 in the morning. I feel quite wide awake and restless. Then I get tired again at around 3 a.m. I drop off to sleep until about 7 o'clock or so. My friends have always made fun of my sleep patterns. My wife used to force me to get out of bed because I would lie there tossing and turning all night and I couldn't sleep a wink, and it would disturb her.
Right, of course. So, what did you do about that?
Well, I actually decided to use the time creatively. Now I walk around Brighton taking pictures in the night. Some people might be a bit nervous walking around at 2 in the morning, but it is actually a really beautiful time to be out. You have the whole city to yourself, and it is really, really great for taking photos. There was a wild storm last night and a full moon, so I was itching to get out there with my camera.
Right, well, thanks, Matt. So, that's one idea if you're suffering from insomnia. Get out there and take some photos. Now, we have Saba on the line from Amsterdam in the Netherlands. Saba,
Yes, hi, how are you?
you also get up at night.
Yes, I've always been a light sleeper. I don't really sleep much. I wake up at about 4 a.m. every night to practice yoga. I love yoga. Most of the time, I do it at home, but once a week, I drive to this really great yoga studio in Amsterdam, and I practice there with about 20 other people, and we've all really become friends now.
So they all get up every night.
Yes, we all have the same pattern now. Sometimes I even get my husband to join us if he's having trouble sleeping, but most of the time he's fast asleep and doesn't even notice when I get up. He sleeps like a log.
Okay, so you just slip away and go to your yoga class.
Well, I try to, yes, depending on how busy the day is.
And now we have Bernie from Manchester.
Hi.
Tell us about your sleep pattern.
Well, I'm an artist, or if that's not too bold a claim. I also work as an art teacher, and the way it works for me is most nights I tend to wake up in the middle of the night, feeling great, wide awake, full of beans, feeling very creative, and usually I have a very strong image in my head that I've usually got from a dream, and what I do is I get up, get my paints out, and I paint a picture.
A picture? From your dream?
Yes, that's right. Most of my work comes from dreams. Quite literally, I'm a surrealist, I suppose. It helps me to deal with issues and work through things. I find the whole process of dreaming very therapeutic.
Interesting. And then you go to sleep again?
Yeah, I mean, what tends to happen is I go back to bed, and then I'll drift off to sleep for a couple of hours, but I'm always up at 7 o'clock. After all, I've got to teach at art college.
You never oversleep?
No, I'm always fine. Sometimes I will have a nap later in the day. I'm not as young as I was, after lunch.
Thank you, Bernie. So Bernie has 3 sleeps, 2 at night and 1 in the afternoon. I think I'll try that one myself. And lastly, we have Ian, who grew up in Indonesia.
Hi there, yes.
Ian, tell us about it.
Yes. Well, it's quite interesting. I grew up among the Yali people in Papua. which is part of Indonesia. My parents lived in a very remote area. My mom was a medical worker and Dad was an anthropologist, and we all lived in a remote village. I lived there until I was 16, and as a child I used to camp and go hunting with my friends in the Yali tribe. We would go to bed more or less after sunset, and we always woke up during the night.
The whole village?
Yes. We'd hear people talking, someone would start a fire. Sometimes we would eat sweet potato before going back to sleep until about 5:30 or 6. At home with my parents, I would get the regular 8-hour sleep, but with my friends, I slept like they did. It just seemed more natural.
Okay, thanks, Ian. Very interesting. And now we're going to listen to the weather.
Okay, guys, after you listened, you can check your answers right here. These are suggested answers, okay? This is practically a brief idea of what they were talking about, so you can compare your answers with the suggested answers. On letter C, look at the expressions in the box from the recording which are about sleeping well or too long, not sleeping or not sleeping well, falling asleep, or having a short sleep. Okay, we got these expressions right here. We're going to check the answers right there. On the first one, the ones that express sleeping well or too long would be fast asleep, sleep like a log, or oversleep. Not sleeping or not sleeping well would be wide awake, be a light sleeper, be restless, not sleep a wink, toss and turn, and suffer from insomnia. Falling asleep is the same thing as drift off to sleep, drop off to sleep. And having a short sleep is the same as to say have a nap. Okay, so check that these match the ones right here. And then we go to exercise D, pronunciation. Listen to this extract from the recording. Underline the stressed syllables in the fixed expressions in bold. Okay, let's listen.
Track 3.49.
My wife used to force me to get out of bed because I would lie there tossing and turning all night and I couldn't sleep a wink.
You can go back and listen to it again. You will find out that these are the syllables that are stressed. You know, the ones that you listen more to the pitch, like get out of bed, tossing and turning, couldn't sleep, a wink, okay? You're emphasizing something on your pronunciation. You're stressing the syllables. Now let's go to letter E. It says underline the syllables you think will be stressed in the expressions in bold. Listen and check. Let's find out. It's about sometimes I even get my husband to join us if he's having trouble sleeping, but most of the time he's fast asleep and doesn't even notice when I get up. He sleeps like a log. Now let's listen.
Track 3.50.
Sometimes I even get my husband to join us if he's having trouble sleeping, but most of the time he's fast asleep and doesn't even notice when I get up. He sleeps like a log.
Okay, we can find out where the stress is right here. Having trouble sleeping. He's fast asleep. Sleeps like a log. Okay, those are the stressed syllables right there. Now talk about your sleeping habits using expressions from 4C. You're going to answer these 3 questions using the expressions from 4C. Are they the same as people you live with? Why or why not? In what situations does your sleep pattern change? What can be different about it? Do you know someone with particularly unusual sleeping habits? Okay, you're going to send me these answers using the expressions from 4C. And then right here on speaking working groups, imagine that most people have segmented sleep patterns. What impact would it have on the way our lives are organized? How could society need to adapt? Consider these factors: travel and transport, entertainment and socializing, work, leisure activities, education, and meal times. Plan a typical day for a student who wants to start a segmented sleep pattern. How can they make the best use of their time? When should they eat, work, relax, learn, exercise, or spend time with friends? Choose one student from your group to represent you and explain your idea to the class. Decide which group plan is the most practical or the most original. Well, what you guys are going to do is write down, you're going to send me how or exactly what impact would it have on the way our lives are organized, okay, if we had segmented sleep patterns, okay? So you have to consider this to answer these questions, and then you're going to plan a typical day for a student who wants to start a segmented sleep pattern. How can they make the best use of their time? When should they? Okay, you're just going to plan a schedule, a typical day of our person with a segmented sleep pattern. On the next page, we go to page 95. Suppose you could live forever, speaking and vocabulary, aging and health. Look at the photos and read the quote. How do they make you feel? Now it says aging is one of the most profitable fears of our time. Profitable is when someone can make a profit. A profit means ganancia, okay? So something that people will make money of, okay? So people are afraid of getting older, and that makes a lot of other people rich because they sell products. So here we can see some people applying some treatments. Read about 5 treatments. Which do you think is the strangest and which would you try? Okay, you're going to read these 5 treatments right here, like the snail slime cream, the emu oil, the bee sting venom, and the anti-sagging lips. Also, the Platza treatment. You're going to read these and you're going to check these words right here on your dictionary, like scars, rashes, wrinkles. Scars mean cicatrices, rashes, urticaria, wrinkles, arrugas. Glowing complexion es una complexión brillante. Facial, facial, fresh, fresco. Sagging means que están colgando. Facial, facial, firm, firme. Circulation, circulación, and youthful glow, brillo de la juventud. Okay, so you read these and then match the highlighted words and phrases with the definitions. Now, I just gave you the translation to Spanish, but you need to match them with the definitions. Okay, so check that your matching exercise corresponds to these answers right here. Okay, you're going to send me the word with its definition. Okay, you need to study these words. Now go to vocabulary focus 8B on page 165. Okay, right here, what you're going to do is answer this exercise. It says listen to the words and phrases in the box, okay? You're going to, which words in the box are usually associated with youthful skin, mature skin, and all ages. Youthful skin is somebody that's very young. Mature skin is somebody that's not that young. And all ages, it doesn't matter if they're young or if they're old. You're going to put those words in these 3 categories, okay? So you're going to check that they're like this way in each category, and you also need to check the definitions in the dictionary of these words. Then complete the collocations in bold with as many words and phrases as possible from the box in A. Compare your ideas with a partner. Are they the same? Okay, you check that they are like this. Sunbathing can cause dry skin, wrinkles, freckles, blotches, and a rash. Okay, you're using these words to complete these sentences. After you finish exercise B, you go all the way to exercise C. Match 1 through 9 with A through I. Listen and check. Okay, in this one, you're going to match these with these. And you check your answers right here. So you can see that 1E, he was showing his age. His hair was thinning and graying around the temples. Okay, temples are this part right here from your face. Okay? And then look at the words and phrases in bold in C. Complete the table. Okay, you go back to the phrases and you complete this table right here. Okay, and you check that your answers are correct. We're talking about anti-aging treatments and effects, superficial effects of aging, health problems caused by aging, and healthy living. Okay, you're going to write down those words right here on the box. And then answer the questions about things in D. Okay, you're going to answer these 4 questions. What anti-aging techniques do you think are reasonable steps to take to stop the aging process? Okay, you're going to answer these 4 questions. After that, you go back to page 96. On page 96, we've got reading. In the future, how likely do you think it is that medical science will keep people alive for much longer than today? Why do you think so? Okay, answer those questions and then read the interview with the scientist Aubrey de Grey. How does he answer the questions in 2A? Okay, you're going to read this interview right here about that question and you're going to answer it. And you're going to check that your answers are correct. And then read the interview again, summarize the main points made about these topics in paragraphs all the way from 2 to 7. Okay? You're going to summarize it. That means that you're going to give a small, detailed explanation of what each paragraph is. Okay? So you can check the suggested answers, but you have to try to summarize it by yourself. Then, would you like to live for 1,000 years? Why or why not? That is a very interesting question. Have you ever thought about living 1,000 years? Well, this is your chance to answer why or why not. Okay? It's all, the article goes from here to paragraph 5 and extends all the way to page 97. As you can see right here, these are the paragraphs remaining. Okay, so read them and then read the web comments about longevity. Which ones reflect your opinion? Okay, so you're just going to choose the ones that you think about the same way. And then on letter B, which sentences in 3A refer to a real possibility, an imaginary or unreal situation of both the past and the present. Okay, you're going to check which ones match with each one. And then underline the word or phrase in each example in 3A that introduces the condition. This would be your answers right here. These are conditionals. You're going to see them further on Grammar Focus 8B on page 153. But before we go there, use the phrases in the box to talk about yourself. Say one thing that isn't true or you don't really believe. Can you guess your partner's lie? Okay, this exercise you need to do it with a partner. So what I'm asking you is to just write down, like 2 things that are really true, but one that is false, okay? So I'll try and guess which one is your lie. So we go all the way to page 153, and we got here the conditionals. We often refer to conditionals as 0, 1, 2, 3, and mixed. These are useful reference points for verb forms, but there are many variations with different tenses and conjunctions. We've got the real and unreal conditionals, and there is no change of use of verb forms. We use present tenses in the if clause. When we use if, we use the present tenses. If I want a snack, I have one. Should recover quickly if her temperature goes down. In unreal conditionals, we show the situation in a hypothetical or unlikely by changing the verb forms back 1 tense. We go back to the past. Okay, so from 0 to 1, we use the present tenses. 2, 3, and mixed ones, we use the past tenses. We go 1 back. Okay, we can put had, should, and were first instead of if. This is like a formal way, like had I known about your plans earlier, I would have acted differently. Should her condition get worse, we will contact you immediately. Were humans to live so long, there would be many health complications. Okay? So here are other conjunctions, not only conditionals, we've got conjunctions. As long as these are phrases or words that are conjoining, right? They're giving us a condition of something happening. So long as, on the condition that, only if, or in the event of plus noun. This is more formal than the first one. And you have one example right here. You can borrow my shirt so long as you don't get it dirty. So that's the condition. I mean, you can borrow it, but the condition is not to get it dirty. Okay? Then we got, if it were not for Simon, I would never have known about the cucumber diet. So if this didn't happen, this was the condition. If this didn't happen, I couldn't have known about this, right? And another conjunction would be providing and provided. The material will be ready providing you give plenty of notice, provided that you repay it within 3 months. The bank will issue the loan. So you need this condition so the other thing can happen. Suppose or imagine that, suppose we could live to 100, what would we look like? So that would be the condition, just supposing that we would live to 100. Assuming and supposing this might be the case, like let's meet on Sunday, assuming that it's everyone's day off. I mean, if the condition is that everybody has Sunday off, and then just in case, plus possible situation or result, as a precaution, like write down the phone number just in case you forget it, like being precautious to write it down. And then otherwise impossible is the result of, if not that, then this. Like, I need to get to bed. Otherwise, I won't be able to get up on time. So the condition for me to get up on time would be to get in bed right now. So you can see these conjunctions are conditioning things to happen. So let's look at this one. It says, if you really want to find the secret of living to an old age, you should ask my mother. Okay, just imagine his mother. So match the sentences half. So you're going to match these ones with the conditions. You can check right here if you have them correctly. Okay, this is the way you're going to match them. And then on letter B, put the conditional sentences in order. Adding commas where necessary. The first word is highlighted. You're going to make sentences with all these mixed up words. Okay, and you're going to check that they are in the correct way. Okay, you can check right here on the box, and you can go back to page 96. Okay, and that's all we're going to have today. Thank you guys, and see you soon.